In heraldry, an attitude is the position in which an animal, fictional beast, mythical creature, human, a human-like being is emblazoned as a charge, support or a crest. Many attitudes apply only to predatory beasts and are exemplified by the beast most frequently found in heraldry, the lion. Some other terms apply only to docile animals, such as the doe. Other attitudes describe the positions of birds, mostly exemplified by the bird most frequently found in heraldry, the eagle. The term lion, however, is usually reserved for fish but may also apply to swans, ducks or geese. Birds are often further described by the exact position of the wings. The term segment is apparently reserved for mythical creatures, as this term is the approximation of rampant as it applies to winged quadrupeds such as griffins and dragons. Additionally, there are positions applying to direction, to indicate variations from the presumed position of any charge. Animals and animal-like creatures are presumed to be shown in profile, facing dexter, and human-like beings are presumed to be shown affronte, unless otherwise specified in the blazon. Positions indicating direction. Animals and animal-like creatures are presumed to be shown in profile, facing toward dexter, unless otherwise stated in the blazon. Humans and human-like beings are presumed to be shown affronte. Note that the heraldic terms dexter and sinister are defined with respect to the bearer of a shield, standing behind it, rather than to the viewer. To dexter, the viewer's left is the direction animals are presumed to face, so it is never specified, but may be indicated of a human-like being. To sinister, contourne is said of an animal or being that is turned to face the viewer's right. Affronte is said of an animal or being that is turned to face toward the viewer. En arrière is said of an animal that is turned so it has its back to the viewer. With birds and insects, its most common use, it is an overhead view with the wings spread and its back to the viewer. Guardant or in full aspect indicates an animal with its head turned to face the viewer. Regardant indicates an animal with its head turned backward towards the sinister, as if looking over its shoulder. Entry in aspect is when the animal's head is facing at a three-quarters view to give the appearance of depth, with the head cocked at an angle somewhere between to the side and straight on. Attitudes of beasts. Many attitudes commonly met within heraldic roles apply specifically to predatory beasts, while others may be better suited to the docile animals. These will each be discussed in detail below. Also worth note is that a lion or other beast may additionally be described in terms of the position of its head, differently colored parts, or by the shape or position of its tail. A beast may be armed or langed of a tincture, while a stag may be attired or unguled of a tincture. A lion carries the tail between its hind legs. The tail also may be forked or doubled. Rampant. A beast rampant is depicted in profile standing erect with forepaws raised. The position of the hind legs varies according to local custom. The lion may stand on both hind legs braced wide apart, or on only one, with the other also raised to strike. The word rampant is sometimes omitted, especially in early blazon, as this is the most usual position of a carnivorous quadruped. Note: the term segment denotes the same position, but implies a particular wing position and is only used in reference to winged quadrupeds such as griffins and dragons. Rampant is the most frequent attitude of quadrupeds, and as supporters they are rarely seen in any other attitude. Faucine is the term for this position when applied to horses or unicorns. Passant. A beast passant walks toward dexter, with the right forepaw raised and all others on the ground, while early heralds held that any lion in a walking position must necessarily be a leopard, and this distinction persists in French heraldry. This use of the term leopard has long since been abandoned by English heralds. A lion of England denotes a lion passant guardant or used as an augmentation. The Welsh flag's passant features a dragon rather than a lion. For stags and other deer-like beasts of chase, the term tripant is used instead of paslant. Segent. A beast's segent or segent sits on his haunches, with both forepaws on the ground. A beast's segent erect is seated on its haunches, but with its body erect and both forepaws raised in the rampant position. Couchant. A beast couchant is lying down, but with the head raised. Lodged is the term for this position when applied to the docile animals. Courant. A beast's courant is running, depicted at full stride with all four legs in the air. Dormant. A beast dormant is lying down with its eyes closed and head lowered, resting upon the forepaws, as if asleep. Salient. A beast salient is leaping, with both hind legs together on the ground and both forelegs together in the air. This is a very rare position for a lion, but is also used of other heraldic beasts. The stag and other docile animals in this position are often termed springing. Certain smaller animals are sometimes blazoned as saltant rather than salient. Statant. A beast's statant is standing, all 4 feet on the ground, usually with the forepaws together. This posture is more frequent in crests than in charges on shields. In certain animals, such as bears, this may refer to an upright bipedal position, though bears blazoned as statant can also be found with all 4 feet firmly on the ground. While statant is used in reference to predatory beasts, the more docile animals when in this position may be called at bay, while such creatures statant guard and are said to be at gaze. This is particularly true of stags. Pascuint. Kine and rhinoceros can be shown as pascuint, that is, grazing, with head lowered to the same level as the forelegs, as the head of a cow would be when eating grass. Attitudes of birds. Some attitudes describe the positioning of birds. The eagle is so often found displayed in early heraldry that this position came to be presumed of the eagle unless some other attitude is specified. In the blazon, the terms expanded and elevated or abaissé and inverted are similar terms often used interchangeably in heraldry but have specific meanings. There is also sometimes confusion between a rising bird with displayed wings and a displayed bird. The difference is that rising birds face either to the dexter or intrian aspect and have the feet on the ground. Displayed birds face the viewer, have the legs splayed out, and the tail is completely visible. Several terms refer to the particular position of the wings, rather than the attitude of the bird itself. A bird in nearly any attitude, except overt, may have its wings displayed or addorsed. Wings displayed means the bird's right wing is extended forward and its left wing extended rearward, turned so that the undersides of both wings are fully shown. Displayed and expanded or espagné épandé are spread with the wingtips pointing upward. Displayed and lowered or abaissé are spread with the wingtips pointing downward. Wings addorsed means the wings are raised and spread behind it back to back as if about to take flight, so that only the top of the bird's right wing shows behind the fully displayed left wing. Addorsed and elevated are raised with the wingtips pointing upward. Addorsed and inverted are raised with the wingtips pointing downward. Displayed. A bird displayed is shown affronté with its head turned to dexter and wings spread to the sides to fill the area of the field. This position is presumed of the eagle, and the symbolic use of eagles in this position was well established even before the development of heraldry. Going back to Charlemagne. Overt. A bird overt closed, the bird's equivalent of statant, is shown in profile and at rest with its feet flat on the ground and its wings folded at its sides. Trussed is the term used for domestic or game birds, implying the bird is tied up or caught in a net respectively, and is not applied to predator birds like the eagle and hawk. Perched is overt while sitting atop a charge. Rising. A bird rising aroused. The bird's equivalent of salient. Face is dexter with its head upturned, wings raised, and standing on the tips of its feet as if about to take flight. A bird rising may have its wings described as either displayed or addorsed, and the wings may be further described as elevated or inverted. Volant. A bird volant faces the dexter with its wings spread in flight and its legs tucked under its body. Volant en arrière is when the bird is shown from a top-down perspective with the head facing straight ahead, its back to the viewer, and the wings spread in flight. A bird volant is considered in bend as it is flying from the lower sinister to the upper dexter of the field. However, the term in bend is not to be used unless a bend is actually on the field and it will be depicted on it. Recursion. An eagle, a hawk shown regardant, like it was looking back while circling for prey, may be used for other gliding predator birds like owls. Vigilant. A stork, crane of the like standing on one leg may be called vigilant or in its vigilance. A stone is usually shown held in the claw of the raised leg. This is as per the bestiary myth that cranes stayed awake by doing so. If it dozed, the crane would supposedly drop the rock, waking itself up. Vulning. In her piety. One peculiar attitude reserved only to the pelican is the pelican in her piety. The heraldic pelican, one of the few female beasts in heraldry, is shown with a sharp stork-like beak, which it uses to vuln her own breast. This is per the bestiary myth that a female pelican wounded herself thus to feed her chicks. This symbol of sacrifice carries a particular religious meaning, and became so popular in heraldry that pelicans rarely exist in heraldry in any other position. A distinction is sometimes observed, however, between the pelican vulning herself and in her piety. The pelican is shown exclusively in profile, perched in her nest with her wings either addorsed and inverted or overt. Other attitudes. Few attitudes are reserved to the rarer classes of creatures, but these include segrand, a term which can only apply to winged quadrupeds, niant and horient, terms applying principally to fish, glistened and loud, terms applying to serpents. Serpents also sometimes appear in a circular form, biting their own tail, but this symbol, called an Ouroboros, was imported ready-made into heraldry, and so it needs no term of attitude to describe it. Segrant. A creature segrant has both forelegs raised in the air as a beast rampant with wings addorsed and elevated. This term is reserved to winged quadrupeds. Combatant. A respectant. Creatures combatant are shown in profile facing each other in the rampant segrant position, always paired and never appearing singly. Nearly any creature can be rendered combatant, although this term is usually applied to predatory beasts and mythical creatures. Herbivorous animals in such a position are typically blazoned as respectant. Addorsed creatures or objects addorsed or endorsed are shown facing away from each other. As with combatant charges, addorsed can only appear in pairs. One also frequently finds keys addorsed. Niant. An animal, a creature niant is swimming. This term is typically applied to fish, but may also apply to other sea creatures and occasionally waterfowl. A dolphin blazoned as niant is always shown as imbowed. Unlike any other sea creature, a monster, even though the blazon may not specify this. Horient. A fish, dolphin, or other sea creature horient is in a vertical position with its head up. Urant. A fish, dolphin, or other sea creature urant is in a vertical position with its head down. Glissant. A serpent glissant is gliding horizontally in an undulant posture. Nowed. Serpents, and the tails of other beasts and monsters, may be nowed or knotted, often in a figure 8 knot.